Today we're going to be making a card. The first thing you need to do is fold a piece of paper hamburger style, and we're going to be inspired by Vincent van Gogh, Georgia O'Keeffe, and Andy Warhol.
All right, the first thing I need you guys to do is find the fold of your card. And we're going to do ours vertical. So turn it so that the fold is on the left side and you can open it like a book. We'll talk a little bit about these colors later, but those are complementary colors. And they're optional to use, but I'm going to show you how I would use them. So our theme is flowers, so we're going to draw some dogwood flowers. So the first thing we need to do is I want you to draw a circle, top half, left side. It's okay if it's not perfectly there because it doesn't have to be exactly in the same position as mine. Once you draw that circle, you're going to draw 4 dots kind of like across, top, bottom, left side, right side, about the same distance away from the circle. Now from the dot to the circle, I'm going to do a very skinny looking petal. So I'm going to go from the dot, go out a little bit, go down, go out a little bit, go down. And then I'm going to add layers around it. From the same dot to the center. Do it again, one more outside, not crossing the lines. And as they get out more, from my dot I have to arch up and then come down, arch up, and then come down like an M to get down to the circle without touching the other lines. Kind of looks like a heart in a way. If you don't want to do all of these lines in the middle, you could just do the outside line, which would be the most arched, kind of heart-shaped one that goes to the middle. I know when to stop when my outside line gets really close or hits the petal that I've already done. So skinny petal, go to the dot, go to the circle, arch outward, kind of like M's or like a heart. Doesn't have to be perfect. Flowers are from nature, so they should vary in kind of the shapes and the ways that they grow. So please don't worry about it being perfect. It's better that they're unique. Okay, so we did 4 dots because dogwoods have 4 petals. I'm going to do this multiple other times. So let's do another one at the bottom of the paper. I'm going to draw another circle. Let's see here. I'm going to do one underneath that one a little later, but let's do one here at the bottom. We want to create balance. Do 4 dots. This time I'm going to angle it. So at the end of this, I'm going to ask you a little bit about what kinds of elements and principles we used. So far, we've talked about shapes, like circles and hearts. Talked about lines, so curving lines. And I just said the word balance, which is a principle of design. Gonna keep doing petals, skinny petal, outside, not crossing, making kind of an M or a heart shape. If it goes off the page a little bit, that's okay. Just continue as if there was a piece of paper there. I did my side that's showing first so I can kind of see how it would mirror it. So there, I'm going to do my right side petal, and then my left side, I can't see where it goes, but I'm going to make it kind of look like the right side of that petal. You can have as many as you want. It is up to you. Do at least 2 or maybe 3. So this one I'm going to show you how to overlap. You don't have to overlap, but you can if you want. 4 dots. Now, this one, I'm going to draw the inside of the petal, and then I'm not going to see the other part because it's underneath this other flower. So I'm going to go and then draw the curved lines like they're going towards the dot, but I'm going to stop. Go ahead and do the skinny petals. Now the bottom sides of these, or the right sides, are going to be normal because I can see them. I'm going to go ahead and do those first because those are the easiest to do. Then the left side's going to kind of match it. I'm just going to draw and stop, draw and stop. There's 3 there. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Now it looks like it's underneath. And my last one's going to be normal. I'm going to do one more just because I feel like mine could use a little bit more. Like I said, you can do at least 2. Also, you don't have to overlap. This one I'm going to do the corner just to make it interesting. Do the inside, arch outward, like a heart or an M shape. There we go. All right, so we're going to draw some branches that these dogwood flowers are sprouting from. We're going to do them behind the flowers, and I'm going to do my lines kind of slightly bumpy because branches are natural, so I don't want them to look too straight. I'm going to do 2 lines for the width, and then I'm going to do some stripes, some curved lines across it to make texture, making a little poke out there. It's almost like a little Y-shaped branch that these 2 flowers are on. I'm going to do another at the bottom here, behind this flower. This one, I'm going to do another Y shape. Actually, I'm just going to do a single one. There we go. Now I'm going to start to do the coloring part of this. So the first thing I want to do is define my branches. I'm going to trace them with a brown and then color them in with a tan. You can color them however you'd like to, but make sure that you do those first so that they stand out. So let me talk to you a little bit about the colors on the right. So the colors on the right are complementary colors, which means on a color wheel, they would be opposite. So red and green are opposite, purple and yellow are opposite, and blue and orange are opposite. So you're going to choose one color for your flower and one color for the background of one of those combinations. So up there, you see my blue and orange combination. Those are complementary colors. I'm going to use red and green. Pink is a tint of red, so if you want to use pink, green would be its opposite. But you'd use complementary colors because they create contrast, and contrast is one of our principles of design. So you don't have to use these color combinations, it is just a suggestion. So for dogwood flowers, they're usually, or some of them can be white. So instead of coloring in the whole flower, I'm just going to outline it to give it kind of like texture and what would be like a natural shadowing to it. So see up there, my blue ones, they still look white because I didn't color it in blue, but I used blue to outline it. Also up there, you can kind of see that those still look like dogwood flowers, even though I didn't do all of the lines because there's only 4 petals, and I did some lines to create texture. So I'm going to trace all of my petal lines first. And if you want to, you can switch up colors. So I'm going to do pink only for this one, but I could do like pink and red, and it would still follow my complementary color scheme. You can break the rules for the middle of the flowers and use yellow or orange if you'd like to. At this point, I also want to remind you that your artwork does not have to look exactly like my artwork. I mean, my 2 right there are very different. Your artwork should actually not be exactly like my artwork because I want you guys to use what we're learning and create something that is unique to your own style. Okay, so for mine, it's time for my background. Instead of just coloring it, we're going to do some lines around the flowers to kind of give them a little bit of interest. So around my flower, my branch, I'm going to do an outline that doesn't touch it. So I'm kind of framing it. I'm doing that with my green because I chose to do the complementary red and green. I'm going to do that for each one of my flowers, giving it kind of like a little frame. I'm also using dark green because I want my lines to be dark and my coloring to be lighter later. I'm going to follow the same rule of doing lines that don't touch or cross. Oop, can't go much farther, so I'm going to go back. And create some more lines that are framing my flowers. At this point, if you want to do your own designs, that is fine. But we want to use line, an element of art, to create interest around our flowers. That's close, but it still works. So I work from the flower and I go out if you want to do it like this. All right, I'm going to use another green, a light green, and I'm going to color lightly behind it. Once again, this is my decision to do this. You don't have to do this, but I'm doing it so that way it will make my flowers stand out even more or emphasize them. And emphasis is a principle of design. It emphasizes it by creating contrast, and contrast is also a principle of design. As you're finishing, I need you to start thinking about, who is this card going to be for? There are 2 things this week that you could use this card for, and if you can't decide who to give this card to, maybe make another card like this that you could give away. But at the end of this week, there is a special holiday that might be something that you celebrate that has to do with somebody in your house. Also, this week in general might be an appreciation week, so you give your card digitally to somebody as well. All right, once you decide who your card is for, you're going to write inside of it. And I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Until next week, have fun creating.